Hi everyone, Miss Flachier here. We are going to start on the how-to lesson of creating our 3D line sculpture. If you watch the videos, you would have seen the song going over lines, and hopefully you practiced making some different kinds of lines or thinking of lines. And then I hope you enjoyed the roller coaster video. I thought it was an interesting way to show you curvy lines and wavy lines and loops and corkscrews. So that's what I'm going to show you right now, is how to use paper to create a sculpture. This is my example that I made. It's a little crazy, a little funky. I'm going to try and show it to you from all sides. Okay. And what I used for the bottom was a piece of cardboard. This was trash from a juice box. So I think having something hard to glue this stuff on or tape it on is good. This is an example of, I'm trying to do this the best way I can. I'm just going to leave it down here. This is an example of the spiral. This would be a zigzag. This is a wavy in and out, thick and thin line. This is just an experiment with a whole bunch of different fringy lines, diagonal lines. So now I'm going to show you. You don't have to make yours like mine. You don't have to make it look like a roller coaster. I just want you to start thinking about how you can make three-dimensional lines from paper. Okay, some of the things that you can use for this would be cardboard. So I'm going to cut this up to make the bottom of my demonstration. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be tiny. It could be whatever you feel like. I have strips of scrap paper here. I also have junk mail that I was gonna cut this green part off because I like the color on it. So you don't have to worry about having the best supplies to work with right now. If you look, I have a box of old markers and scissors and glue sticks. That's what I have around my house. So don't get caught up on what materials you have or don't have. This, I also like the green on this, so I was going to cut a strip out of here. Okay. And then once you get a few lines together, you can also draw your lines first. If you would like to make a thick and thin line, you can draw it first before you cut it out to make it easier. Okay, and then you could also use this part too if you wanted the cutoffs. You could use tin foil. It's something else I just thought of. And tin foil is easy to manipulate, so you can make this thicker than a piece of paper just by rolling it up. And there's a thicker line than a piece of paper. And then this is really easy to bend, obviously, and to make the type of line you want. Okay, I'm going to show you with paper. Zigzags are really easy. You fold it one way, like that, and then you fold it the opposite way, like you're making a fan. and you start to have a zigzag, and you just keep going. Hold over, under, under, and here's your zigzag. To make a spiral, use a pencil, wrap it around, roll it tight, and here you go. Okay, there's your spiral. Diagonals. Diagonals are easy. Diagonals can just be cut. Sorry, I'm trying to keep the camera. So this would be a diagonal line if you put it like that. Okay. What else? You could do dotted lines. You could cut your line out. Cut it into smaller pieces. And when you lay it out, you have a dotted line. Okay? So let's start assembling some of these ideas. I just want you to play. It's easier if you start to think about what you want to do just by having your lines ready to go. I'm going to roll this one up. And then uncurl it so that can be my spiral line. And I'm going to fold this part down and I'm going to glue it that way. If you don't have glue, use tape. If you don't have tape, you can use a stapler if mom and dad will let you. You could just lay it all out, take a picture of it and not glue any of it. And that works too. So, but I don't like the way that looks. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to roll the piece of tape up so that it's underneath it. That way you don't see the blue tape. Okay. And now I'm going to start to put my dotted line with my glue stick. Okay, I'm gonna take my zigzag that I started, I'm gonna finish it. And I'm gonna have my zigzag go over top of that first line. So do you see how I'm kind of playing with it, deciding where it's gonna go before I glue it on? Okay. And this is what we have so far. It almost looks like a star coming out of there. Now I'm going to start working on this side, maybe using my thick and thin line. You can make your thick and thin line move up and down by gluing it in one spot, then lifting it up, gluing it again, so that you're pushing it closer to the first glue mark. And then you can do it again over here. Okay. So this is just something to play with, to think about lines, how we learned about lines earlier in the year, and go back to it. Any way that you can make things stand up by folding them and gluing it on. This is my diagonal line that's just coming off of here. You could make your sculpture with all the same materials. If you want to make it all red, you can make it all red. If you want to make it all tinfoil, you can make it all tinfoil. If you want to make it all newspaper, go ahead and make it all newspaper. Anything that you have that makes it easy for you to create something that is three-dimensional, which means that you can see it all the way around, and fun. So we're trying to look for fun lines and a different variety of lines. Okay, now this one that I'm working on is going to be one made all out of tin foil. And tin foil is a little more fragile, just like when I was rolling up that piece, it ripped on me, but don't get upset. It doesn't matter if it rips because you can always use the rest, which is what I'm doing right now. So the first part ripped, I'm using the rest of it, and I'm going to continue my curly Q line, that's what I'm calling this one, along. I just want you to remember that when you're working with these lines that they are three-dimensional, which means that they pop off the page. They are not, you're not laying down flat lines or drawing flat lines on a piece of paper. To make something sculptural, it has to be three-dimensional. And trying to think, okay, so again, I'm experimenting with the way the line works. I have the tinfoil cut already. Now I'm gonna slip it under here. I'm gonna try and glue it to itself, but I don't know if tinfoil is gonna glue to itself very well. All of this is experimentation, just like we do all the time in class. Okay, so do you see how I've started this coming off of the page? Now I have this stick that I rolled up to make it thicker, and I can bend this into a snake-like form. And you can also then bend it. That's why tinfoil is easier than paper sometimes. And just give it time to dry, okay? Because if you have liquid glue would work better with tinfoil, but I'm making do with my glue sticks, so it doesn't matter. You're gonna have to use what you can at home, what you have. And now I'm gonna make this line stand straight up. So again, this is abstract that we've learned about. Abstract means that it does not look exactly like anything. It is a bunch of lines that we're putting together into a composition. It does not need to look like anything. It is just fun and experimentation. I'm gonna put my last line on, and then I'm gonna sign off and let you guys be creative. Please feel free to email me if you are confused about anything, if you need help, if you want me to see your project, anything. So another little funky creation, but all with tin foil. Okay, so here are the 3 examples that I've made. This was the first one I experimented with. The one I made earlier with the cut paper. And then the tinfoil guy. Okay, so I'm turning over the line sculpture to you now with whatever materials you can find. Hope you have fun and are creative, and I can't wait to see you again and what you come up with. Take care. Bye.